But particularly, the United States is concerned and outraged by the ongoing slaughter of thousands of Christians in Nigeria by various ethnic militias in the Middle Belt, as well as terrorists like Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa in the north. It is tragic and it is unacceptable. Churches are burning, villages are being razed, thousands are killed, clergy murdered simply for wearing a cross, for being a Christian, for daring to say they worship Jesus as Christ. Just yesterday, 25 little girls were kidnapped from their school, and one school official murdered trying to protect them, from MAGA Comprehensive Girls Secondary School in Kebbi State. Colleagues, this is happening. It's undeniable, and it's unacceptable. The United States condemns these attacks in the strongest terms, and it demands accountability. And as President Trump has made clear, we will not stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria. The government of Nigeria must take immediate steps and do more to increase security, respond to early warnings, end impunity, and address the drivers of violence.
My people, now how on a day, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending from where you listen to the sound of my voice. This is the Biafra Superstars Media. My people, there's been this rumor around going up in the air that America and Nigeria now has a deal. According to the Nigerian government, there is now a security deal partnership, and America will help them with security equipment, funding, and things like that. I want to tell you, believe Nigeria at your own peril. Believe that so-called Nigeria at your own peril. We know what is happening. We understand the propaganda they're using in Nigeria. America has their eyes on Nigeria. America will not stand by for the continuous genocide of the Christians in Nigeria. At this point, I want us to hear from the perspective of our brother, Pastor, oh my God, Barrister INIBEHE EFFIONG, a very good perspective that he came with about what's really happening in Nigeria in terms of insecurity. How come Sheikh Gumi can say what he's saying and the rest, and nothing is happening to him? Hear his own perspective, then I'll come back at the end and give my own wrap up. Listen.
We're either terrorists or terrorist sympathizers and financiers are the ones fighting terrorism. And that is why the terror has not ended. That is on the one hand. On the other hand, it looks as if the killings of fellow countrymen and women have become such a lucrative venture. So I am laying this background to say that from where I stand, I refuse, and I'm willing to stake anything on this, I refuse to accept the premise that the entire components of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Army, with formations across the country, is so weak, is so incompetent, is so directionless, is so inefficient, is so understaffed to be held to ransom. What we have seen, government after government, particularly the 8 years, the disastrous years of the Buhari regime and the Tinubu dispensation, is that those who have the capacity, those in government, they do not appreciate the urgency of now. Because how do you explain the argument about non-kinetic strategy that the likes of Gumi and his co-travelers have been propagating? that, oh, the solution does not lie in bombing and killing them.
He says Southern Kaduna has produced that result.
How?
That is his template.
What is the result that we have seen? What is the result? He should explain to us. Because I listened to the
Scale of attacks, number of killings since this governor came in, because he was able to negotiate.
What is the strategy of the
whatever
government?
PZ
Of the
he did.
governor? We had a former governor of that state. I've not seen that they have come to challenge him, Rufai, who declared on national, I'm not sure if it was your station, who just declared on national television a few days ago, accusing the governor of paying 1 billion to terrorists. I don't know whether that is true, but this is what the former governor is saying. So are they telling us?
It was on this platform. I'm just wondering, perhaps if you can paint a picture of a failed state, and when you consider Nigeria, does it tick all of the boxes of what a representation of a failed state is?
If you're
A representation of a failed state is?
Quite an interesting question. Has the Nigerian state failed? The question is, is the state standing? Is the state efficient? What are the indices to come to a conclusion that the state has failed? One, and very vital, is where the state has lost the monopoly of violence. The capacity to deploy force as an instrument for ensuring social cohesion. The Nigerian state has lost that. The second is where institutions are not working. I just laid a foundation of all the institutions that exist under our laws to address this mayhem. These institutions have failed. So where is the capacity of the Nigerian state for anybody to pretend, if at a minimum we do not want to agree that the state has failed, we should be able to agree that the Nigerian state is failing, and is failing at an accelerated rate. Because today, you have a commander-in-chief that is not even commanding Boy Scouts. You have a commander-in-chief whose words, whose orders are almost meaningless.
Would that be fair assessment of his role?
It is fair.
The president is doing what he can do.
What is he doing? He's welcoming the campaigns. He's celebrating governors who are transiting from PDP, from Labour Party, governors and lawmakers to the APC. That is what excites him. I have not seen that passion by this president to stop the killings.
So,
First, he has not visited the victims.
yeah, but some argue that he had to boycott some international trips, for that security meeting held, I think, on Saturday. He had to deploy the Minister of Defense to Kebbi State and all of that. Yes, he has not visited, but the Vice President visited Kebbi.
He has not visited.
But the Vice President
Is
was
the
in
Vice
Kebbi.
President the Commander-in-Chief? And when the Vice President went to Kebbi, what have they achieved? What have they achieved? Yesterday, announcement was made that, yesterday or 2 days ago, that this same president has ordered that policemen will be withdrawn from all VIPs in Nigeria, so that policemen can be redirected to fight outward insecurity. As I was on your way to the station, I cannot count the number of convoys that I've seen policemen in their numbers accompanying VIPs. You have a president whose words are meaningless. They are deceiving us. This President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has no interest in stopping these killings. That is my assessment. I will never accept that the Nigerian government does not have the capacity to stop these things. Because how many are they? Members of Boko Haram, members of ISWAP, and the so-called bandits who are actually terrorists. How many are there?
When you talk about the urgency of now and the ability of the state to come strong, what exactly are you saying? Because everybody seems to say wants something drastic to happen, but I don't think I've heard anybody say what that thing is. What is that thing you expect to happen?
You are not going to solve this problem. Well, history will vindicate the just, like I always say. But I don't see these killings. I don't see these endless, abominable atrocities being put to an end by the government going on its knees to bow before the terrorists.
The reason I'm asking that question, because you're a lawyer, and that's why we're bringing the legal angle. We haven't seen the much we can see in terms. Nnamdi Kanu was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment on the 7-count charge. And then I think, I haven't seen the CTC of, I've read the Nnamdi Kanu CTC, but the one of an ISWAP leader that was sentenced to 20 years,
Yes.
Perhaps an ideological terrorist, I haven't seen the CTC, so I don't know which counts gave him 20 years, because we know what the law says at the end of the day. Is there also a failure in prosecution successfully of terrorists to be able to deter them from being able to do what they do? Is that part of the failure?
Of course. Under Buhari, they told us they were going to publish names of sponsors of terror. If you are aware of this, you can fact check me. Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General, said they had compiled a list of sponsors of terror. They never did. Tinubu had been president for 3 years going. He has not disclosed the name of a single financier of terrorism. I dare you to contradict me. That this government has not told Nigerians one person who has been found to be financing and supporting terrorism in Nigeria. You cannot kill a problem that you are not willing to diagnose. You cannot be accepting prescription from a doctor who is unwilling to diagnose you, who is unwilling to disclose to you what is responsible for the symptoms that you are experiencing. That is what is going on. You are not going to stop these killings when the government has failed to tell us how these terrorists are getting financed. The arms, look at the heavy weaponry that they are using to fight to kill our soldiers. Where are they getting the arms from? It is either it comes in from the sea, from the air, or from land borders.
The reason my question actually is, what in the law can we do to strengthen national security? Because you're a lawyer, so you need to give us that solution.
It is not paucity of laws. I want to be understood. You know, I laid a foundation, intentionally so. Nigeria has avalanche, plethora of legislations. Nigeria has institutions to implement these laws. What is lacking is the political will. The political will. Look at what Saudi Arabia did with terrorists. I am telling you this morning that 3 years going, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is unable to disclose to Nigerians a single person that is financing terrorism in our country. That is the beginning. The Ministry of Justice has not even come out plain to disclose to us the information at their disposal regarding, because if you are going to stop the problem, you must be willing to implement the law. In the case of Nnamdi Kanu, who has now been convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment, we had agents of the State Security Service going to give evidence against him, even though in camera, that is in secret. And then they said, oh, this is what he had done. Now he has been convicted. I hear he's in Sokoto Custodial Center. Some form of judicial process, the fairness of which some people are subjected to debate. But I'm saying, how come that when it comes to the terrorists or not, we only hear few cases? And why is the government unwilling to arrest them? Are you saying that? I listened to Bayo Nanuga on a sister station barely 24 hours ago, less than 24 hours ago, explaining how the kidnapped victims in Eruku, inquirer said, were rescued. You know what he said? He said the military and the State Security Service were in contact with them, that they called them and asked them to release the victims. Are we stupid in Nigeria?
I don't understand.
That is, he's claiming, I just watched the clip before I came on here, that the Nigerian military and the SSS, I mean the video is right online, I just watched it, called the terrorists and told them, release them, oh, let my people go. That if they did not do so, they would have known the repercussion. What does that tell you? It substantiates my position. That look, this government knows who the killers are. They said they know where they are, their coordinates. Are you saying that the SSS, that is so quick, that is so excited to locate people that are using accounts with not with their real identity, to track them, pick them up for criticizing government, like the man that they accused of calling for a coup? They were able to track him, locate him. Yet, terrorists that are slaughtering people, slitting their throats, They have TikTok accounts. They are competing with us on TikTok.
Right. Yes, I mean,
and the SSS is not able to track them.
Yeah.
It's unable to. I reject this premise.
Yeah.
I completely reject this premise as false.
I saw one of those videos as well, early hours of this morning, where terrorists on TikTok was boasting.
Lord have mercy. There you have it. There you have it. Terrorists on TikTok boasting, showboating, counting the money that they've got. And when you look at those pictures, these are kids. These are young boys. Those terrorists, they are babies. I keep on revealing this secret, but some of you don't want to get it. The job of the ESN in Biafra land was to be out there in the bushes, to protect the borders of the bushes, the outskirts of the bushes, from these marauding Fulani killer militias. Our voluntary force were doing a good job. When the terrorists knew they could not penetrate our territory, they spoke and communicated with Nigerian government, those who run terrorism in Nigerian government. And it was agreed that the Nigerian government find a way to bring military into Biafra land to sabotage, annihilate the youths of Biafra land. You should ask yourself, to today, everybody is shouting that youths must defend themselves, defend themselves. T.Y. Dajuma said they collude, defend yourself or you die in the process. Even the head of the DSS said defend yourself. The days of waiting for the army is not possible. Defend yourself. But when it comes to the Southeast, we were being proactive. We did not wait for them to tell us to defend ourselves. Instead, through our leader Nnamdi Kanu, a man we love, but today, those who are destroying our business in Lagos, they are telling us that they love us so much that now that they have, dealt with Nnamdi Kanu, falsely jailed him, now there is peace in Biafra land. Now people in Biafra land will be happy and have peace. Our enemies are telling us about how much they love us. The irony of life. Your so-called enemies are telling you how they love you, that they have jailed your leader, and now you will have peace. You will have happiness in the eastern region. That's a slap on our face. They know what they are doing. Because where is the happiness when you ask for government to get involved in the Southeast? Where is the happiness when you choose to vote for a candidate of your choice in a place like Lagos? Where is the happiness when you are doing your business, prospering, envy comes in, jealousy comes in, even the government goes around and comes with a policy to break down your businesses in Lagos? Where is the happiness? Where is the peace? Bunch of animals and hypocrites. They know that ESN is not a terrorist organization. The only job, the primary job of ESN is to be out there in the bushes, in the forest, never to come out, but to be there and protect the land of Biafra. And they were doing a good job. The terrorists that you're all scared of, we ain't scared of them. They were doing a good job protecting the land. Until the government sponsoring terrorism, insecurity said, no, these Igbos are very stubborn. They are stopping our Fulani killer headsmen from penetrating the Igbo land. The same way they've done in Benue, Plateau, Kwara, Oyo, they are coming. Oyo, they are coming. People of Oyo State, they are coming. We were being proactive. We said, no, we shall defend our land. So they came with the military to come and kill the youths of Biafra land, defending the land from the terrorists. Because it makes no sense. Why are Nigerian army in Biafra land? To kill the people who are there to defend their land from whom? From the enraging terrorists coming to our land. Before your eyes now, all across Nigeria, people are shouting, defend yourself, defend yourself, defend yourself. But we were being proactive. We were defending ourselves before you animals who are deaf, dumb, and blind knew what to do in the process. but your government came to stop us. So I'm telling you all, before you think you can defend yourself, your Nigerian government you love so much will come and take you guys out. Amotekun in Yoruba land, look at the gun they are giving them. Amotekun, a licensed security outfit by the governors of Yoruba land. Your government, your federal government sabotage them by saying they can only carry 10 guns. Do you know why? In order to make sure they are handicapped when it comes to combating the real terrorists, the Fulani militia carrying AK-47. What's a 10 gun compared to AK-47? You guys should start using your senses. That a licensed security outfit to protect the land of Yoruba, Nigerian government say, oh, okay, fine, the governors, you have it, but the guns you will use is called Shakabula. Pump action. And you guys, you naively, you agreed. Today, where is Amotekun when the cabal, they are taking over your land? Where is Amotekun when Fulani headsmen came to the church in Kwara State? They say this thing that you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. You do not bring a knife to the gunfight. That's why we, the Biafrans, we said, no, we know how to defend our land because we are not scared of those Fulani militias that you animals are scared of. But unfortunately, in our own case, the federal government had to step in and send in their military. Their military that claim they are not strong enough to protect you all. They are strong enough to do what they are doing in Biafra land. Suddenly, they can kill. But in the north, they have a peace deal with them. They have a treaty. Terrorists can wear their military regalia to come for a meeting. They even wore the uniform of a slain soldier to come for a meeting. It's okay. They have a peace deal. They have activities, marriage, ceremonies, birthday. They're having a good time in the north. But in Biafra land, because we are defending our land, they have come to kill us. Your Nigerian army has come to stop us because we are defending our land from the terrorists. What an irony of life. And you tell me you believe your government is dealing with insecurity. Today, I will speak on the perspective of the truth about insecurity in Nigeria. At this point, let's hear from our brother, Rufai Oseni. If you're ready, let's go there. Listen.
Architecture. Until date, we've not been able to solve that problem of complicity. And it still keeps raising its ugly heads. We've not gotten to the root of that complicity. And lives have been lost. It's not today that we keep even hearing the soldiers say, oh, they want to attack the enemy lines, the military, the Boko Haram lines, and they get order from above not to attack that area. So, this is how we are going to be looking, and insecurity and insurgency will continue in the country. And please, in a year's time, you will see things have not changed because we are not tackling the problem. You know, François de la Rochefoucauld, the famous French philosopher, said hypocrisy is the emerged vice pays to virtue. And that's exactly what I'm seeing in Nigeria in this insecurity matter. Gumi keeps granting interviews where he defends bandits. He was asked on channels today that what's it called? That if Nnamdi Kanu shows remorse for what is happening, he can call for the fact that Nnamdi Kanu should be released. The question is, if it's a fair country, has Gumi not said worse things? If you are to put it on the same proportion, has he not said worse things that should have warranted his arrest by now? And for him saying if Nnamdi Kanu calls for him, has Nnamdi Kanu on many occasions not spoken against the unknown government killing people in the southeast? Has he not called for peace? Has he not even said, oh, there's going to be Biafra government visited on those people perpetrating that evil? So you can see the level of hypocrisy. Sheikh Gumi that have said a lot of terrible things. It's not in this country some people said that if they kill bandits, they are killing their people. People that have said a lot of terrible things defending these bandits, making a case for these criminals. And Sheikh Gumi has a temerity to mention Nnamdi Kanu and said if he shows remorse. Has Nnamdi Kanu not spoken against the killing in the southeast, even during the court process? Has Sheikh Gumi not spoken in favor of the bandits? The question will ask the authorities, why have you not been arrested? Is it because it's Sheikh Gumi? With all the things he has said in this country. So you can see the level of hypocrisy. He was now making an allusion. He said, Shibi Shagari, pardon Ojukwu and everything. Apart from Shagari pardoning Ojukwu, Nigeria had already pivoted towards reconciliation with the Igbos. Don't forget, even before Ojukwu came back to the country, political parties that started integrating Igbos. Have you ever wondered that in 79, why was it that the top political parties used Igbo running mates, Alex Ekwemi and Philip Omedi? So what is this selective history Gumi is trying to say? But he can say there, embody the bandits and say, oh, it's because there's no water, there's no health care, there's no this, that's why they're perpetrating evil. Has Nigeria been fair to all of us? I don't have water in my house. I don't have government water. What has government done to me or done for me? Nothing. Does that warrant me to go and carry arms and ammunition and attack people and cause loss of life and property? What is Sheikh Gumi saying? The hypocrisy is so large. The hypocrisy is so large in this country. And except we start to speak truth to power, we'll not get anywhere. Because we keep revolving around in circles. And if God needs to help Nigeria, we need to speak truth to power at all times. Sheikh Gumi can speak in favor of the bandits, can say all sorts of funny, obscene things. Unbelievable things. But he has the temerity to say if Nnamdi Kanu shows remorse. Let me just fact check Sheikh Gumi. Nnamdi Kanu has called for the end of the killings many times in the southeast. Let's stop being hypocritical. So what kidnapping has happened around the Kwara area, around the place called the Shapa in Kwara. About 11 people have been picked up. This thing has now become a daily occurrence. They were hearing people being picked up every day. And the question is, when is the solution going to come? Nothing yet, because it looks as though those in authority are not even doing anything to be able to lessen this burden and lessen the plight of people and lessen the pain they are going through in their lives. So let's wait and see how all of this pans out in the coming days. What will befall all of these people, and hope we can get them back.
Nnamdi Kanu is a clear example. In 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal struck down the charges against him and ordered his release. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has also called for his unconditional release. Yet he remains in solitary confinement, in deteriorating health, and recently had to represent himself in court. Nigeria has signaled that the law is optional and targeting Christians is fair game. Just hours ago this morning, despite the pleas and cries of the Nigerian people and many Nigerian lawmakers, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted on all charges. For fiscal year 2025, the U.S. has requested nearly $8 billion for sub-Saharan Africa. But when Americans see political prisoners, judicial defiance, and the slaughter of Christians, they understandably ask as they meet their own struggles, why should our tax dollars support governments that refuse to protect their own people? Is our aid aiding a genocide? Nigeria is a nation of tremendous potential, but that potential is being choked out by violent persecution of its Christian population. No country can build a stable future where churches are burned, believers are killed, and communities live in fear.